Dominic, you stabbed me in the back. And the thing is, and this is probably something you've heard before, it just wasn't deep enough. What the fuck did she mean by that? I'm racking my goddamn brain trying. She means his penis. She means his penis. She's talking about the fact that his dick just wasn't deep enough to go inside the vaginal cavity and cause an orgasm and cause a throng of pleasure because his penis is too small. Dama penis. He's not nicking the vaginal cavity enough. I'm just going to disgust everybody before I get started with this particular video. You're welcome for that imagery. I'm John Renton with my review WWE Raw from Austin, Texas. Just over 15,000 seat capacity, and they had around 12,200 or so fans. A complete sellout for what they had set up. And yeah, Rhea implied that Dominic Mysterio has a very tiny little dick. Man, they can't wait to go to Netflix so they can talk about tiny little dicks and talk about all the sex. Okay, so this review is up a little bit later than usual because I went and saw a special screening of a mystery thriller with Elizabeth Banks called Skincare. My review is up. I hated it. I didn't hate my review, I hated the movie. You might hate my review, watch it anyway. So, yes. Thank you guys very much, by the way, for always tuning into my reviews. I really do appreciate. On the march to 1 million views, over 2,000 subscribers, which I never fucking suspected. But anyway, so we get recaps of a couple of particular matches on SummerSlam. Rhea and Liv, Gunther and Priest, and also, just a lot of stuff going on. So, we then see that Priest and Rhea have teamed up as the Terror Twins. Sir, another Terror Twin team has entered wrestling. So, the crowd loved Rhea. Buddy is so fucking lucky is what I want to say. I wish them both nothing but the best. My God, Rhea, good grief. With as much respect as I have in my system, and if you know anything about me, yeah, there we go. She talks about feeling heartbreak and embarrassment, but she's really just pissed off. And then says, Dominic, you stabbed me in the back. And the thing is, and this is probably something that you're used to hearing, it just wasn't deep enough. Oh, Dominic having a tiny little dick can't, get the vaginal cavity all orgasmy. I know nothing about anatomy, as you can clearly tell. So, nevertheless. So, we then see Dominic there and Liv, in short shorts and strapped up. Stop thinking about it, Kier. I know you're thinking about it. Stop it. Get some help. What's wrong with you, Kier? Thinking about somebody strapped up and everything. Don't worry. Maybe Liv will get in that ass. You've never said anything like that on Twitter, have you, Kier? I don't have a screenshot of that. Kier's a really good guy. I just can't help it. Really good guy. Now, that being said, so they boo Dominic. Well, you made me call you mommy, but now I got a girl that calls me daddy. Stop calling your lovers, like, parental nicknames. The fuck is wrong with you guys? There are people maybe that are watching this and might think I'm talking about them. The royal, you guys, I don't get it. Whatever. So, she helped me finally beat my dad, which you never could. And Rhea says, I'm actually proud of you, but I wanted you to beat your dad on your own. Going down the only road I've ever known. Somebody should have helped Daniel, and then maybe Chris wouldn't have done what he did. Moving on. Though, I do want to say that one thing, excuse me, allergies, son of a bitch. One thing about Liv's promos, and her promos have been very good. The only part of them, Rhea, just look at you and look at me. And I'm not knocking Liv, it's the material. But, yes, look at Liv, look at Rhea. I will look at Rhea, thank you very much. Whichever you prefer. You could like Rhea more than Liv, or you can like Liv more than Rhea. You can like both. Many would want to and die happy. But that being said, the whole point of this is nobody buys that part of it. Like, they both look good in their own way. They're both attractive. I personally prefer Rhea, but I don't blame people for preferring Liv. I just don't think it quite hits as hard. Now, the crowd was starting to what this, but I was actually enjoying this because at least they were doing something. And then There was a sloppy seconds chant. Man, Austin didn't mess around. But Rhea had a plan. And that plan was to have a giant Puerto Rican individual show up behind. I'm not talking about Jose Gonzalez on stilts. It's Damian Priest. And he attacks Dominic. And they battle through the concourse. And then Liv jumps on top of Priest. And all strapped up and everything. Again, Kier, what is wrong with you? Stop it. Stop thinking about Liv on top. Get some help. That being said, Rhea goes to chase her. They go out a door. Seemingly into the concession, or the backstage concession area, and Priest chases Dominic to the ring. They battle. Then Carlito shows up, and then they have a match that was fine. The crowd loved Priest, and Chokeslam won it. Carlito doesn't mean anything. The crowd was really the story here. When the crowd was into the show, it really helped. And then all of Judgment Day attacks again. Then here's Rhea again. And JD gets chokeslammed again. It didn't maybe quite get the reaction that it got last week, but it still got a really good reaction. They can't do stuff like this every single week, but for the 2 weeks they've done it, it has been pretty good. And then Dominic's going to get with Riptide, and they tease it just enough before Liv pulls him down, and they're going to build to that mixed tag match coming up with Bash from Berlin. So good stuff right there. So far, we're about 35 minutes into the goddamn thing, and we're doing pretty good. And then the Alphas are there. Maxine is talking to Ivy. Talking in the broadest strokes possible. Please stop having Maxine cut promo. Just stop. Just have her just stand there. She's not cut out to do anything physical. She's not. I'm sure she's athletic. She is not cut out to do this. So then we get Wyatt 6 main event recaps, New Day recaps, and Xavier is now sold on Aussie Jones, who then beats a guy named Vincent Winey, who's a Performance Center guy. It was fine. It was what it was. The Final Testament shows up, and they continue this cross talking about dividing New Day. And Xavier's like, no. We'll have a tag team match. And then Kofi's like, he takes the mic. They've been teasing this enough that they better be going somewhere with it. And I don't think they are. But Xavier's upset. He's like, look, one of y'all is going to interfere. Or, y'all are going to interfere, so let's just have a 6-man tag. Xavier didn't want that, and they're building this. They might build it where Xavier does walk out once, saying, you need to listen to me, you don't respect me, and they build that back up. In fact, that's probably what they're going to do. And then Pierce is confronted by Drew. Punk has had travel issues, so he's not there yet. Drew says he wants a title shot, not Orton. But don't worry, I'll be on my best behavior. And then the Alpha Academy, along with Maxine just standing there like a freaking lamppost. Except you could replace a lamppost and improve it. I don't think you can really try anything with Maxine and improve her. I'm not saying she's an awful person, but good God, please just stop. So, they took on the Creeds. Ivy was going to show up later. Gable was in Paris, apparently looking for new recruits. And he's not done with the Wyatts. Please, stop. Just stop. Treat Gable and the Creeds seriously and get them away from get them away from the Blumhouse blunders. God, please. Anyway, a little bit later, Ivy showed up and attacked Maxine, and she was getting choked. And boy, Maxine sure was trying and flailing and everything. I haven't seen a choke job like that since David Carradine, or since this movie I saw in college by mistake. The Creeds needed all that to pin Tozawa by a roll-up. Stop. Just fucking change the tag division and get rid of it. I'm not saying get rid of people and take away their livelihoods. This is stupid. It's really, really bad television. The Creeds can be associated with Gable and they can do all this stuff. But they're going to be associated with the Wyatts and the Alpha Academy and they're not going to be taken seriously. Then fans are going to lose faith. I'm sorry. I've kind of lost faith already in them. They're going to need to rebuild them. It's probably going to take till after Mania. Jackie then interviews Pete Dunne, who has to take that thing over because Jackie's interview skills are not great. He was held down by Sheamus and all that. Then Raw Physics with Here Comes Bronson, who's looking for more victims. Here Comes Bronson will probably be babyface by November. Seth is out for a while because he came back too soon and his injuries have piled up. You know what? Give him till at least War Games off. Give him till the Rumble off. He's only got a few years left. And with his back, his knees, he really should preserve his matches for big moments. So Io and Kyrie had a pre-tape where there was subtitles for the English and Japanese people. Mainly because English is their second language. Some of the English stuff was in subtitles. Look, it was fine. It was fine for what it was. Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe are now known as, and I wrote this down, I've committed this to fucking memory, the Pure Fusion Collective. I have one question. What the fuck were the rejected names if that's what they came up with? Okay. So the tag team champions show up. Here's Alba Fire, and dear God, what was Isla Dawn not wearing? The only material she really had that covered most of her was the goddamn boots. I'm not complaining because Isla looks great, but my goodness. So they were at ringside for Damage Control versus the Pure Fusion Collective. Again, what were the fucking rejected names? The Scissor Sorority would have been better. I mean, maybe not, but it wouldn't have been any worse. So it's a number one contenders match, and basically later Zoe collides with the champions. She's just upset because Alba and Isla will not appreciate the fact that she helped discover Scotland, decades and decades and centuries ago. So, a moonsault, Alba and Isla attack Io first, so technically Damage Control won, but now they're going to do a three-way next week. WWE loves three-ways. Don't get me wrong, women in three-ways. I enjoy seeing that, but I've seen it a little bit too often. Even I'm sick of it. Me, of all people. So, Truth tries to talk to Miz, who's going heel soon, I'm thinking. He got him a match with Braun. Wait, doesn't he have a match with Sami Zayn? Well, I don't think so. And then the graphic shows up on the TV backstage. It's Here Comes Bronson. And, wait, the guy that kicked Seth Rollins' ass last week? Or the guy that killed Seth Rollins last week? And Orton says he's got a match with, Bronson. Isn't that the guy that killed Seth Rollins last week? And he pumps him up and said, you main event of WrestleMania, did all this and everything. You're going to do great. Truth says, you think he's got a chance? And then Orton goes out and we get a sing-along. He talks about his first world title win on this day 20 years ago. Who'd he beat? Huh? He beat renowned murderer Chris Benoit, by the way. Just in case anybody didn't know. Here's Gunther. 75% of his WWE run, he has been a champion. So they go back and forth. Gunther says that Orton has wasted his potential. Given all of his accolades, though, he's not wrong. There have been numerous times, and not just ill-timed injuries, where he'd gotten himself in a lot of trouble and a lot of mistakes. And Orton says, yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes. I vote up to him. Yeah, I'm unpredictable. You see it as a curse. I see it as a gift. And, I have beautiful kids and a hot-ass smoke show of a wife at home. I'm doing all right for myself. And Gunther basically drags him down again. You always screw it up. You always get close, but you always screw it up. And, like your grandfather and your father, and everything. And then they go nose to nose. And here's Drew. And just enough of a distraction where Gunther turns around and gets hit with an RKO out of nowhere. And Drew looked like he was going to do something, but then here comes CM Punk in street clothes. They get in a brawl. Drew starts to rip off his strap. A lot of strapping going on in this show. And is going to strap CM Punk. But then CM Punk straps him. Straps him from behind. And let me tell you right now, when a pissed off Chicago man with tattoos wants to strap you, no matter how big you are, you're going to feel it. I'm not going to offer any more details, but it hurts. To quote Jennifer's body, Megan Fox, I had to sit on a bag of frozen peas for a week. Got mushy peas, as it were. So, yeah, that was a pretty good segment. Jackie's then talking to Sheamus, and Sheamus instantly takes over because, again, Jackie's interview skills. Look, she seems nice, but please, have her host backstage stuff. So, about Pete Dunne, his injuries, here's Kaiser, and then Dunne shows up, and Kaiser looks, just Just going to let them fight. I'm going to let the Allied forces fight out. I'm sorry. I'm just going to zone this off. Enough. And then he hits a shillelagh in the hand. No! I hope Sheamus is ambidextrous. Miz took on Here Comes Bronson, and it was what it was, and Here Comes Bronson won. Miz got hit with the tsunami. Truth got hit with a lot of tsunamis. The refs were about as useful as the Uvalde police. I would love to see Uvalde police laid out with tsunamis, because they all deserve it. Every single member that did nothing to stop all those innocent school children from being murdered, they all deserve to be splashed. They all deserve to be humiliated, taken away from their goddamn families, or their families taken away from them, one or the other. That being said, Pierce finally scolded Bronson, but hits another tsunami. I'll suspend you, I think is what he was saying. The mic didn't pick it up. Hits another tsunami. They might want to cool it just a little bit, because he hit 6 on Seth and that worked. He hit a number here. Easy. Because if you do it too often, then he's going to have to do 10. Then he's going to do 11. Then we're going to have to go up. And his knees aren't going to be able to take it. So yeah, mixed tag with the Terror Twins and Liv and Dom. Stop with the Judgment Day Treehouse stuff. Next week's looks kind of eh. If I watch it, I do. If I don't, I don't. I only did this week because people asked me to. Steiner and Zayn had a 2 out of 3 falls there in Continental Championship match. This finished strong, well worked. I was worried because they only had 18 minutes left. I was like, I have to rush some of this stuff. They paced it well after they went 1 minute to the break. Steiner is very good. Sammy sold his ass off. Hit a haluva kick out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. He's up 1-0. And then we get the Frankensteiner, the Power Slam press, and we get 2 spears. And with about 5 to 6 minutes to go, Steiner is tied 1-1. Or Steiner ties it up 1-1. And then the lariat over the announcer's table, a near countout. Zayn fires back with a sunset flip bomb. He gets Steiner jammed in the corner after a spear dodge and 1-2 kick out. And then a high kick. He hits that for a 2. But then a midair spear, 1, 2, 3. And there we are. Steiner retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Will likely face off against Ilya Dragunov in Germany. So we watch the Americans bash a Russian in Berlin. There we are. So, yeah, that's pretty much it right there. It wasn't bad. Just toss those notes away right there. It wasn't bad. It started strong and finished strong. There was some decent stuff in the middle. We'll see how it goes from week to week, guys, because there are some weeks where I might have to take off. So, nevertheless, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rithlin. I'll see you soon.